let's go. Yeah, we always try to stand up to the lies. We said we'd never give up till we die. I'm trying to help our friends. We learn to live again. We'll never say it's over till the end. We almost died learning how to survive the fast life. You know they say that nothing lasts forever. You know they said we'd never stay together. It's a long way down, can't turn back now. Go through these life changes, go through these life changes. Don't you know that life changes? You know that love changes. The pain it rearranges. Best friends become strangers. Don't you know that life changes? You know that love changes. The pain it rearranges. Best friends become strangers. So you get up, you shake it off, smile at everyone you meet. Put your best foot forward, chip on your shoulder. It's like you can't be beat. It's like we can't be beat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Going through these life changes. Going through these life changes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Going through these life changes. Going through these life changes. You know they say that nothing lasts forever. That's what they say. You know they said we'd never stay.
And we're back to listen to Hardy Show, Sports Talk, Speaker Radio, iHeartRadio.com. Email for the show is hardy4824@gmail.com. Twitter is at hardy7830. So sources say that Sean Miller, head coach at Arizona, talked a $100,000 payment on a wiretap to ensure that freshman guard DeAndre Ayton, would agree to play for Arizona. And this all stems from the FBI probe and the documents obtained by Yahoo Sports that says that players from more than 20 Division I teams have been identified in the FBI probe as possibly breaking NCAA rules. Documents obtained by Yahoo.com detail spreadsheets of former NBA agent Andy Miller and his agency ASM. Alabama, Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State, South Carolina, Texas, USC all have at least one current player active implicated. USC, NC State, Seton Hall, LSU, Maryland, Washington, Utah, Louisville, Xavier, Wichita State, Clemson, Kansas, Notre Dame, Vandy, Creighton, Virginia, and Iowa State are also in report. Does this really surprise anyone? I mean, does it really? And some of these figures are large and some of them aren't. You know, there's one of them that literally was a $73.91 loan to a player. And that's it. But we know what NCAA rule is. Any impermissible benefit to a player and or his or her family, whether it's money, paying for a hotel room, paying for a flight, paying for a visit, paying for a dinner, whatever it may be, that it's an infraction. And really the ones named in this case, Alabama, Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State, Texas, South Carolina, USC, there's 20 of them. The highest amount is $10,000. That's the highest amount. Now, what we've heard today about Sean Miller with Arizona and $100,000, that's larger. That's the largest one. And I don't know what the NCAA is going to do here, because what they could do is for each one of these teams, they could say, well, you have one player that, you know, should have been deemed ineligible, so your whole season is vacated. It's possible. I don't think that they'll do that, but it's possible. We just heard that Louisville had to vacate their national championship season from a couple of years ago. Now, from what we've understood, apparently Michigan State and Duke have cooperated with NCAA. It doesn't look like they're going to face any severe infractions. But a lot of people sit here and wonder, why is this such a big deal for the FBI? Why are they investigating this so hard? I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. What we saw from Rick Pitino and what they found going on there, and now what we're hearing about Sean Miller in Arizona. I think these documents released by YahooSports.com and the FBI, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think this is just them saying, hey, this is just the start of it. We're going to put this out here, see what happens. Let's see what the NCAA does. And then let's hammer the rest of this home. Because I don't think this is all that they have. And that's the questions that I keep getting from this, is people are saying, do you think this is all that they have? No, I don't. I don't think that this is all that they have. Now, do I think that every team cheats? No. But I think that this is a problem not just in college basketball, but in college football as well. I just don't think it's become to the degree that it has. But with that said, this stuff doesn't surprise people anymore. People hearing about a player taking benefits or taking deals, it really isn't surprising people anymore. But where the NCAA really hits the hammer is when they can find out that the coach had knowledge and had involvement in it. The NCAA is more lenient on a school and a coach. If it's just a player that is dealing with the agent and is getting benefits and money, they have room for penalties there. But when they find that the head coach, like they found with Pitino in Louisville, when they can see and prove that they had hand-to-hand knowledge in getting large amounts of money to players and their families, that's where they're going to lay the hammer. With Duke, Alabama, Kentucky, Michigan State, South Carolina, and Texas, and USC, and UNC, who were named in this investigation, along with, like I said, it was 20 teams. Most of those, it just involved one player, and it appears that it was a very small amount. Like with Duke, it was their current player, who's currently on the team, Wallace. He accepted like $1,200 from this agency. And that was it. The NCAA really is not going to... they're going to have to bear down. There's going to be a penalty there. But as we've just heard, Duke has, along with Michigan State, has put the knowledge out there, has, dealt with the player and dealt with the NCAA, and it appears that there's going to be no heavy penalty. But realistically, what the NCAA could do here, with these teams that have active players in this investigation, they could withdraw their whole season. They could make their whole season ineligible because of that one player. Because they can sit there and say, well, that one player is ineligible, so everything that you've done up to the season on this point is a no-go. And if they did that, that means that Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State, North Carolina, these powerhouses would not be allowed into the tournament this year. Now, I don't see them doing that, but what the bottom line comes down to here is, why is the FBI, why are these documents being released? It's one player, it's a small amount. That's because there's more to this. I said back when the FBI busted Rick Pitino and the sanctions were laid down and he was fired, and we all know what happened there. I said that that's just the start. There's more to this. And that's what I believe here with these 20 teams. I think that this is just a start. But again, where the NCAA really lays the hammer down is when it's more than one player and when there's proof that the coach had knowledge and involvement. Like we now know that they have wiretaps of Sean Miller, the head coach of Arizona, talking payment of $100,000 to get a player to come there. That's a federal offense. That's not just an NCAA violation. That's a federal offense. Because once money like that crosses state lines in an illegal way, it is a federal offense. And I know people are saying, well, just pay the players. That's not going to solve the problem. Because there's going to be people that are going to do the same thing and they're going to offer more money. And what it comes down to is these players, not all of them go to the NBA, but a lot of them that get scholarships, they have a very good chance of going to the NBA and making a lot of money. The other college student that has to pay off all his or her loans, they don't get that luxury. So if you pay student athletes, especially in basketball and in college football, that doesn't send a very good message to other students that are having to pay their way through college. Because here you would have a student athlete who didn't just get a free ride scholarship to play a sport for his or her university, but they're also getting paid to do it. I don't have a problem with college athletes not getting paid. I don't. I understand all the money that universities make and blah, 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 blah. But realistically, they make enough money from people just going there and attending college regularly that aren't playing any sport. But these documents released by Yahoo Sports, where the largest amount is $10,000, and it looks petty, and it makes you think, okay, why is the FBI even looking at this? Why is this being released? Because there's more to it. I don't believe that this is going to be the only bombshell from this whole thing. There's something else here. The FBI and Yahoo Sports wouldn't take their time to release these type of documents if there wasn't more to it. I believe there's more to it. I said when Rick Pitino got busted and Louisville got busted that it goes deeper than just them. We all know college sports has a black eye. Bribes, paying players, not to mention the whole sexual assault and harassment issues going on in college campuses. But it's getting to a point where none of this is surprising people. You know, like I said, today it was released that Sean Miller, the head coach of Arizona, got caught on an FBI wiretap paying a player $100,000 to come play for his school. It's getting to a point where it's not really surprising people anymore. That they're not even shocked. That they're expecting it to happen. That they know this type of stuff is going on. Now, again, do I think that it's to the degree of what we saw at Pitino and Louisville? No. I don't think that Calipari is a snake oil salesman. Do I think he's done things he shouldn't have done? True. But look at Mike Krzyzewski and how long he's been at Duke. Not one instance where there was report of issues or him illegally attaining players. Why? Because he hasn't needed to. People want to play for him in that school. He's built a legacy there. Now, a lot of people believe that the NCAA wants to nail Kentucky and John Calipari because there's a lot of talk that he's obtained players in a way that he hasn't. And we just saw what the NCAA did to Louisville and what happened to Rick Pitino. And now Sean Miller's job at Arizona is on the line because of this